Hey, welcome to another edition of Mini Pod. No fluff, just good stuff. I'm Dave Jacobs of Small Church Pastor. Thanks for checking in. I don't know if you're going to agree with me on this, but have you noticed that arguing doesn't really work? I mean, it's pointless. The only thing an argument does is make someone angry or hurt. Now, the same thing is true with debating. You might win the debate, but in so doing, you create a loser. No one wants to be a loser. You've won the argument, but forced someone else to become something they don't want to be. Arguing and debating draws a line in the sand, and eventually the sand ends up being kicked in somebody's eyes. Now, some pastors, they seem to enjoy arguing and debating and kicking sand in the eyes of those they disagree with. I want nothing to do with that. Jesus already pointed out that sand is a poor foundation. Now, pastors can be really bold and brave on Facebook and Twitter and blogs, but this seldom changes their opponent's mind. The only thing accomplished by arguing on social media is to reveal who is on their side and who's not. Ultimately, no one has grown on either side. No one has learned. No one has changed. Hurt and pain grow, but not much more than that. I don't want to be that kind of pastor. This reminds me of Paul's advice to Timothy when selecting elders in the church. Do you remember what he said in 1 Timothy 3:3? Don't pick a leader who's addicted to wine or pugnacious. The word pugnacious, I love that word. The word pugnacious means someone who loves a good fight, who's quarrelsome, someone who leaves a bruise. He says, don't pick anyone that's addicted to wine or pugnacious, but look for one who is gentle and peaceable. That's the type of pastor that I want to be. Now, I know some of you might immediately object and say, well, yeah, but we've got to speak the truth. We've got to correct error. Jesus turned over tables, and we've just got to be careful about, correct doctrine and all that kind of stuff, and everybody's always got an exception to, this rule of being gentle and peaceable. There's plenty of pastors out there turning over tables and confronting people on their doctrine. They don't need my help. I don't want to be that kind of pastor. Before I leave, I wanted to just mention that back, I think it was in 2015, my second book, Belligerent Believers, dealt with this. But there's a new book out that I wanted to have you get immediately by Doug Bursch. And it's called Posting Peace, subtitled Why Social Media Divides Us and What We Can Do About It. It's a brilliant book, and it's really up to date. You're really going to enjoy this. Doug's a great guy. Everything he writes, everything he does is not only funny, but it's good stuff. So follow this guy any way you can. He wrote his dissertation on social media. He's a former newspaper columnist and a talk radio show host. And this, once again, I just can't push this guy enough. So as soon as you get off this podcast, go over to Amazon, get his book. You're not going to be disappointed. This is Dave Jacobs of Small Church Pastor. If you like this mini pod, hit the like button. I think it's actually a thumbs up sign. And subscribe so you don't miss any future editions. Have a great day.